Why deciding to have an OnlyFans was the best decision I ever made for my life. Okay, if you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Coach Jazz and I'm so glad to have you. I have seen this video topic surfacing on YouTube a lot. I don't know if I'm late to the party or if it's always been a discussion, but I did want to give my 2 cents on it. I am 35 years old. I started OnlyFans, I was 29 going on 30, and I started during COVID in 2020. OnlyFans was by far the best thing I ever did for myself. There's a lot of reasons why. I'll start with the most obvious. Yes, money, right? But I believe money doesn't really make you happy. People can put on a front all they want, but I don't think money genuinely makes you happy. Like, that's something that you have to find from within, whether you have a whole bunch of money or not. It can alleviate stress, of course. It makes your life easier, yes. It allows you to afford more conveniences, yes, but I don't believe that money genuinely makes you happy. But having OnlyFans, I'll start with the money aspect of it. Yes, OnlyFans can be lucrative. I don't think it's lucrative for most. I actually just found something on social a few days ago that said the average OnlyFans creator makes $200 a month. I did not know that. I didn't know that. I make more than $200 a month. OnlyFans has allowed me to afford the lifestyle that I live in. I live a very basic lifestyle, okay? I'm not out here on yachts. I'm not flying in private jets or anything like that, but I am truly blessed, and I know I do make more than the average American in 2026, okay? So yes, so the money aspect, of course, but there are other things that OnlyFans allowed me the opportunity to do that I don't feel like I would have ever really gotten to do if I didn't take this path. Everything happens for a reason. So just so you guys know, I am a solo creator. No shame to anyone who does anything else, but I am a solo creator. And the biggest thing that OnlyFans allowed me to do was start my online business. So I came from a 9 to 5 that I absolutely hated. If you've tuned into any of my lives, you guys have heard me talk about it. I have a college degree. I got a bachelor's degree in biology. And, I was very fortunate to find the job that I had. Most college graduates, when they graduate college, it's hard to find a job. So I was blessed in the sense that soon after graduation, I was able to get a job, and it was paying $60,000 a year, which was more than most, right? I don't know what the average household income was back then, but to be making $60,000 at 22, 23 years old, that's pretty good. I didn't have any kids. So, that's pretty good, right? But I was still broke because I still had a lot of horrible spending habits. I was buying cars that I couldn't afford, just living above my means. I'll admit to that. And I can accept that. But at the end of the day, I was still broke. And so I was always stressed about money and bills, and I also hated my job. I realized that what I was doing was not something that I wanted to do forever. I hated management hated me. It was just very toxic, and it wasn't where I was supposed to be. But I felt like that's where I had to be. I felt like I had reached the American dream status that people talk about, and I was miserable as hell. And, I tried to find other jobs. I think a lot of us can resonate with how hard it can be to find another job, or at least another job that's paying you what you're making, if not more, right? You could not easily, but you could find a job making less. But if you've already acquired a certain lifestyle, we all know it's hard to take less when your bills cost this much, right? So I was struggling with finding another high paying job, decent paying job, whatever. And I was very stressed and depressed about it. I was very depressed. I was drinking all the time. I just really hated my life. And so when COVID came around and OnlyFans started popping up, I didn't know what that was because I wasn't really on social like that. The only people I followed on social was friends or colleagues and people I went to high school with, right? And I started seeing all of that pop around. I'm like, what is this? What is this? And I learned more about it. I did a little bit of investigating, not too much. I did enough, and I had made the executive decision to quit my job and start my OnlyFans. I sure did, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. The very first thing is, it's what started my self-development journey. I used to be so insecure, you guys. I used to be so insecure. I was lost. I was just lost. I cared way too much about what people thought about me. I needed external validation. I just was not whole within. And so when people found out I was doing OnlyFans, oh shit, you would have thought it was World War III. everybody had something to say. People were saying negative things, calling me all types of names. This is family and friends. And it forced me to be by myself because nobody was accepting of what I was doing. And I understand their mind went left. When you hear the word OnlyFans, which I'm sure some of you guys might be like, oh God, right? You're probably thinking the craziest, most wildest thing. And it doesn't have to be that. It can be that. It's not that for me, but you know, it's whatever people want to do on there. And so when my family and friends found out I was doing OnlyFans, that's where their mind went. It went all the way left, right? And so, you know, it forced me to have to be by myself because people weren't agreeing with the decisions that I made. And so it forced me to start a self-development journey. It forced me to get comfortable with being by myself. It forced me to stop caring what people thought about me and to live the life the way I want to live it. It forced me to be accepting of the decisions that I choose to make in my life, right? And that's a beautiful thing to learn. I don't think a lot of people get that opportunity to go on a self-development journey because a lot of people live their whole life caring what other people think. And that's unfortunate, but that's the truth. There's so much power in being comfortable in your own skin and being okay with the decisions that you make, like genuinely being okay with it, right? It's one thing to say you're okay with it, but to truly be okay with it is a totally different thing. And OnlyFans allowed me to do that. It also allowed me to find myself in ways of figuring out what kind of content I wanted to create, right? So I started as an OnlyFans creator. I am still an OnlyFans creator, but my content has changed over the years. I was recording my fitness journey. I lost 100 pounds. So OnlyFans allowed me to do that because I have the freedom to be in the gym recording content. I have the freedom to structure my day around when the gym is less crowded so when I can bring my camera and not be in everybody's way. I had the freedom to explore different types of content that I want to make while still making money on my OnlyFans. And OnlyFans does not drain me mentally, right? My 9-to-5 did. It's hard to pursue something when your day job is mentally draining you because your energy is your most valuable currency, okay? But if you have no energy because you are going to a job that you absolutely hate, it is 20 times more harder to make content because you are emotionally drained, right? But OnlyFans didn't drain me emotionally, and I had help. I have assistance on there. So it allowed me to be able to have the freedom to explore other types of content and figure out what I want to do long term, right? While still collecting an income. And on that experiment, I learned that I do like making fitness content, but that's not something I see myself doing for the next 10, 15, 20 plus years. I realized or I learned how motivational I am, all because I'm just okay with being myself and, you know, sharing things that I've experienced and lessons that I've learned and not caring what people think, that I now have a whole brand on mental health and coaching and becoming your highest version and glowing up, building your business, right? That's something I got because OnlyFans allowed me the freedom to figure that out. A lot of times people never truly find themselves because they're working a 9-to-5. And, you know, you guys, we all know these 9-to-5s are hard. Like, I'm only giving you the perspective that I have, the lens that I see the world through. I've never met somebody, even to this day, who loves their job. I have never met someone who loves their job. When I was working, we all hated that job. Everyone in the department hated the job. Nobody liked the job, right? My mom, she hates her job, right? My friends, they hated their job. Like I was only surrounded by people who hate their job, okay? So I don't know what it's like to love your job, nor do I know what it's like to be around someone who loves their job. I've never experienced that before. So I can only give you the perspective that I have, which is everyone I was around hates their job. So it's so hard to even see what's possible for you when you're going somewhere that you absolutely hate every single day. And my job would take 12 hours out of my day because I had to go through rush hour traffic. I had to be there for 8 hours. I had a 1-hour lunch break. So by the time I got home, I'm 11 hours gone out my day. Duh, it's hard to be consistent with posting. I'm not saying it's impossible because it's not. People do it. but it does make it harder. It really does. And so this is why I talk a lot about mindset and stuff. But regardless, OnlyFans allowed me to do that because I could still make more than the average American and have the freedom to find myself, right? I don't think a lot of people get to experience that. So to me, that's a beautiful thing. And that's why I have this brand. That's how I'm able to motivate people and inspire people, because I had the freedom to find myself while also having OnlyFans. Something else OnlyFans taught me was how to handle money. How to handle money. That's not necessarily just an OnlyFans thing. That's a business thing. I learned that businesses are all over the place, right? Some months you do great, some months not so much. And I entered the OnlyFans world during COVID when everybody had money to spend and blow. So, my numbers were inflated by a lot. So when the economy started settling back down, my money dried up or got tight, and I had to learn how to budget. I had to learn how to live below my means. I had to learn how to save. I had to learn, what is the plan for the future, right? So those are a lot of things that OnlyFans taught me. And I don't know if I would have got that from a 9 to 5, because I was around, everyone at my job was living paycheck to paycheck. That's what I'm saying. The people you're around, even if you don't want to be around them, they do have some type of influence on you. Whether you want to admit it or not, they do. And so everyone, I believe, in the department had fancy cars. Everyone had big houses, right? Like everyone had these things. So that became what I perceived as normal, right? Because that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing all day long. But in the world I live in now, right, I'm not in that space. I'm not around people who hate their job. I'm not around people who live paycheck to paycheck. It's a totally different experience. Now I see people, entrepreneurs, they have financial freedom. They're going on vacations when they can afford it. They're investing into 401ks. They're doing more productive stuff with their money. They're growing their business. They're getting their business out of debt. It's a totally different discussion, right? They're talking about taxes, right? It's a totally different discussion. So now that's what I'm around. So that rubs off on me. Now I'm like, okay, well, what do I got to do to, it's a totally different conversation. And again, if I wasn't running a business, if I wasn't running OnlyFans, would I have ever experienced that? Or would I have continued to be around people at the job that I didn't like, who live paycheck to paycheck and aren't planning for the future and driving cars they can't afford, right? And this isn't all people who work 9 to 5s. I'm just telling you the people that I was around, right? That was my environment. So I think that's a very important thing. I think the biggest thing is, I don't know, but I believe most people don't think OnlyFans is a business, which is crazy because we have 1099s too, like we file taxes too. I don't know why some people don't classify it as a business. I don't know why people think it's the easy route. It's not the easy route. Well, I can't speak on other people's stuff, but I can speak on my stuff. Like, I show up every day. I show up every day. If you scroll through any of my platforms, I show up every day for 6 years. Okay? Multiple times a day for 6 years. Okay? I hire assistants too. I have people who help me too. I have content days too. I buy ads too. Like, I spend money on ads. So I don't know why people think that, or maybe it's just some, I don't know the collective, but whoever thinks that is sadly mistaken. We're LLCs too. Like, it was so funny because I had called, I had made a phone call and they didn't have my number saved in their phone. And so my number popped up, it had my LLC name. And they were like, hello? Like, confused. And I was like, hey, I'm talking, whatever. Because I was on a different number that they didn't have. I have multiple phones. But anyways, so they didn't have that number saved. So they'd be like, why does your number pop up as such and such LLC? And I was like, that's the business name. And they're like, oh, cool. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a business. Like, I don't know. But if people don't think that. I don't need them to think that. They can think whatever they want, but it really is a business, and we show up every day. You know, we got to promote. I'm posting on multiple platforms all day long. So, you know, OnlyFans, and that's the thing. Learning that through OnlyFans taught me how to grow my I Am Coach Jazz brand. It taught me how to sell Glow Up Academy, right? It taught me how to resonate with people. It taught me that I have to post multiple times a day, right? A lot of people who are just starting businesses, they don't know that they have to post every day. They don't know that they have to post multiple times a day, right? But I already learned those lessons because I have been doing OnlyFans for, at that time, 4 years. So I had all this marketing experience. I have an email list over there, right? So it's all of those things and lessons that I learned in OnlyFans that I was able to bring into I Am Coach Jazz. And I Am Coach Jazz, in my personal opinion, has grown pretty significantly in the course of 1 year. Like, even in the first year of having this brand, I profited. A lot of businesses don't profit in their first year. A lot of businesses don't even profit in their 5th year, right? But again, because I learned how to run my OnlyFans and how to grow that, I was able to take that knowledge and put it in I Am Coach Jazz, and I'm profiting. So OnlyFans was a beautiful thing for me. I don't regret it. Now, some people may ask, okay, but what about the digital footprint? Well, yes, it is there. That is there. Anyone who ever asked me, do I think they should start an OnlyFans or give them tips or whatever, I always lead with, I need you to understand that whatever you post on the internet has the potential to be there forever, okay? And I started OnlyFans, I was damn near 30, so I already had an understanding of that. I don't know if women in their 20s fully understand that, but me being 30 at that time, I was more aware. But I also went into it knowing I was never going back to work. So I'm not sitting here saying, you know, worst case scenarios, what ifs, you gotta do what you gotta do, of course. But I'm also a very ambitious person. I've always been this way. And one thing about me, one thing about Jasmine, Jasmine is very resourceful. Okay, Jasmine is very resourceful. Like, Jasmine is very, very, very resourceful. I know how to make some money. That's one thing I do know how to do. But all jokes aside, I'm just a go-getter. So whatever I need to learn, I'm gonna learn it, and I'm gonna learn it quickly, and then I'm gonna implement it quickly, and then I'm gonna get the results I need. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of energy with someone who kind of drags their feet with stuff, and someone who's like, go, 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 like, don't stop, like, no excuses, right? It's just two totally different people. And because I knew that about myself, and I've been doing good so far, right? 6 years deep, I knew that I don't plan on going back to work. And I know that I have the energy to make sure that doesn't happen. I have the resiliency, I have the strength, you know, I'm very resourceful. So I just accepted the fact that once I go through this door, we can't go back out that door. Like, going back out that door is not an option. Like, we will move back home before we do that, right? So I just had that type of mindset. And so because of that, I truly believe that's how I'm able to keep going and keep expanding and keep pushing, just because I have that, right? So I just want to share those things with you. Leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts? Do you guys have an OnlyFans? Like, what? Is there OnlyFans out here? Also, YouTube thinks you would love to watch this video right here. Yes, this one, click this one, watch this video, and I will see you guys in my next YouTube video. Bye, guys.